I was praying periodically for help, but I had a lack of faith and finally got to the point where I couldn't go any further. James and I are kind of looking at each other, wondering what are we going to do with him? We're going to have to carry him the rest of the way. It's another 2 miles or so, 2.5, 3 miles, who knows? We look up the trail and this massive, majestic mule came walking down the trail.
Oh my gosh. What?
And at the exact moment, he's exhausted and says, I just can't go any further. I just can't do it.
It's hard to explain. It had to have been a miracle. This is my way out. This mule was sent to me to carry me out of the mountains.
Yeah.
So I climbed up on the mule and he carried me down to the truck. We'd hunted Colorado and New Mexico for 30 plus years and very seldom run into a horse with a saddle on it.
Holy
It's just very, very seldom that happens. The only reason is a miracle and an answered prayer.
I believe it's about time. I've been waiting for so long. It's about time. I can feel it coming on. There's magic moment. I've been hanging on. It's about time. It's about time.
Hi, Brad and John here, two friends traveling across the U.S. with a curiosity for the truth. Miracles, coincidences, or just luck? What is it? In our last episode, we talked with Hurricane Beryl survivors Carol and Albert Snow, a retired couple that miraculously avoided death by simply tuning into their favorite Western TV show. Continuing on, we traveled to Normandy, Texas. Normandy has a special spot in my heart, a place my family usually gathers for family events and camping trips.
My name is Blippi.
But this time, we'd be visiting for a very different reason. To hear from three of my uncles who had a spiritual encounter while on a hunting trip, and how their prayers were answered by the unlikeliest of companions. This is their story.
Hello and welcome to Can You Explain It? I'm your host, Jonathan Cox, and I'm here with Tim Whitley. And Tim, I hear you on a hunting trip whenever your life was in jeopardy and you were saved by the most unlikeliest of friends. Can you please tell me about it?
Yeah, it was about 2003. We were hunting, went up into Colorado, fairly new place. Decided we would backpack up into the mountains to get up into the higher elevation where most of the animals were.
Basically, we were out hunting with our father, our brothers, and I need to give a little bit of background on that because I'm one of 8 children. And
Catholic?
No,
Okay.
no, but my father and mother wanted to have a large family. They wanted to have 12 children originally, but ended up with 8. So when my dad was in his younger life with all these kids, he had to work quite a bit to feed all the mouths. And so
It's a miracle in itself.
when he wasn't working, he would go hunting, which he loved very much, and we tagged along as much as possible. And so we grew up with our father taking us hunting at an early age, and as we got older, it just it stuck. So it was something that we bonded with our father. He loved to hunt, we loved to hunt with him, and of course we still hunt to this day. But as we got older, we migrated up into Colorado hunting.
The Flat Top Mountains near Steamboat Springs, somewhere around 9,000 feet. Pretty rugged terrain, up and down, switchbacks and all. This particular year it was exceptionally cold, a lot of snow on the ground. And
we hunted elk and mule deer, and we would pack back in the mountains. In this particular case, it was about 4 miles back in the mountains.
To save from having to hike every day up to that area, we would just go up there and camp. So we gathered everything that we could, hiked for about 4 or 5 hours, about 4 miles, I think. I think we took maybe a horse or two to carry some of our things, but we took a roll of plastic. We were going to build a shelter and just stay up there. It was basically our tent was a sheet of plastic, and we had cut some poles from dead trees around the creek and all, and we had used that for a frame, and it didn't cover perfectly well. So we had areas of the tent that had holes and ice was showing, and like I say, it was really, really cold that year. And finally, at the end of the day, crawled inside, got in our sleeping bags. That night, the very first night, little did we know, but it came a blizzard. So where I was sleeping, my face was pretty much, it was the outside. There was a big open area in the plastic. So when I woke up, all it was a white wall of
Oh my
ice,
gosh.
snow, and I had been breathing in this ice cold air, all night. Lazy. Bumps. Still asleep. All right, turn it off so we can start talking again. All right, you losers. We got up and we all branched out, went our ways hunting, and about midday I started getting kind of aching and cold, chill. So I found my way back to camp, crawled in my sleeping bag, spent the rest of that day, all that night, didn't get out of my sleeping bag. Well, a couple of days later, I wasn't getting any better, and we made the decision that I probably needed to get out.
After staying in his sleeping bag for a couple days, we finally came to the conclusion that he needed to get out of there and find a hotel, get some medication, and warm up for a while to be able to beat this thing.
So we started our walk, and I got to where I was just watching my steps. I was looking down, just watching my steps. I didn't even have the strength to look up.
Oh my
I was so
gosh.
weak.
We got a good ways from the camp, but still a longer ways from the truck, and Tim had said that he couldn't go any further. He was feeling really bad, and we stopped. And this actually happened a couple times, and it was getting worse as we walked further.
Now, I was praying periodically for help, but at the same time, I had a lack of faith. At the same time, I would think, yeah, sure, how could I get out of this? Is a helicopter going to land and pick me up? How could I possibly get out of this predicament? And finally got to the point where I couldn't go any further. I had no energy, and I told my brothers that I can't go anymore. I can't go another step. And they're standing there wondering what to do. How are we going to get him out of here? James and I are kind of looking at each other, wondering what are we going to do with him? We're going to have to carry him the rest of the way. It's another 2 miles or so, 2.5, 3 miles, who knows, back to the truck.
Now hold up. You're probably asking, why didn't they use those same horses that they used to carry the equipment and the tarp in the beginning? Why didn't they use those to take Tim down the mountain? And the answer is simply this: the horses were not very ruly and not very rideable.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Stubborn, like a mule. He's got mule in him. Gotta do some of this. There you go.
So they weren't very rideable. They also didn't have enough saddles, and with some of the parties still up at the very top of the mountain, they would need those horses to come back down with all the equipment and the elk that they had collected, and they just weren't really sure how long my three uncles would be gone.
It was just a little horse trail that took us back into the mountains. Nobody else around. We didn't see anybody else. There were a couple, one or two vehicles parked at the trailhead where we were at, but nobody else in sight, and nobody we had come across.
It wasn't a few minutes later that we're trying to figure out how I can get out, that we look up the trail, and this massive, majestic mule with an empty saddle on his back came walking down the trail from where we had came down.
Oh my gosh. What?
And James, my brother James, the mule walked right up to him and stopped, and he merely reached out and grabbed his reins and said, "Hey, get on this mule.
Holy smokes.
Get on
dude.
this mule."
I walked up to the mule. I said, "Boy, this is your lucky day, because here we have a free ride for you."
And at first, I I don't know if I was in disbelief or wasn't thinking straight. I wasn't, Anyway, I literally said, no, just no. And he said, no, get on this mule. And then it's like I came to my senses and thought, this is my way out. This mule was sent to me to carry me out of the mountains.
Yeah.
So I climbed up on the mule and he carried me down to the truck.
Hey guys, this is a quick little announcement here. Hope you're enjoying the video. We have made a Patreon, and if you like these videos and you want to see more of them, consider heading to the links in the bio and supporting us so we continue to put these videos out. A lot of incredible stories coming up. You won't want to miss them, so go ahead and subscribe also. And yeah, thank you so much. Now back to the video.
There was a horse trailer there, and we tied off the horse, assuming that it was the person that had that horse trailer there, that it was their mule that had gotten loose.
Nasty weather, nasty weather. Are you sick, man? Tell us how you feel.
Not good.
All right, I won't pick on you.
And so we were able to get in a truck, go on into town, get a hotel room, and get him some medications. And he got comfortable, warmed up, and stayed there for a few days, recovering from the flu that he had. So
You were hunting for specifically elk, not
Mhm.
bear.
Yeah.
It's said that bear will go and chase the weakest of prey sometimes. Sometimes they go for bigger, but did you ever think about using him as bait? Or
I don't know. He's kind of sour, so I don't know if we'd want to use. I don't know if that would work. He'd probably scare him off.
That's fair. That's fair. I'd be trying to. Well,
Yeah.
what were you gonna do if there wasn't a donkey? If there wasn't, he couldn't go any farther. You guys imagine you have a bunch of gear with you. What was your plan to get him down?
we had backpacks on, but nothing really in there to do anything with. We could not have carried him out. That was not going to happen. I mean, that's too far. It was still at least 2 miles to go, in my estimation. And you're going up and down these canyons and down to the bottom and then back up again. It was just unimaginable that we could have carried him out. So, I mean, if it was possible, we could have cut some pine logs up and put him on it like the Indians used to do and drug him, but that would have been a battle as well to be able to drag him on some kind of makeshift gurney or something. I just don't see how it could have happened, but we didn't have to think about it much because it was about that exact moment that it had occurred that this mule appeared.
And so you said that you didn't see it as a miracle at the time. What did you see it as? Whenever you got a sick brother, you need help. There's 2 miles before you got to just put him on your back and carry him all the rest of the way, which after hearing the story, I'm sure would be no problem for you guys. But then a mule with a saddle, with no rider, comes up. Like,
Yeah.
what was that like?
I know. I just. I guess we were kind of caught up in the situation with him being sick, and it's hard to explain. But obviously later on we realized what had happened and that it had to have been a miracle. You could say that this pack mule had randomly come from some outfitter's camp, and no doubt that happens because when a horse is freed up in those mountains, he goes to the base of the trailhead where the trucks are parked. So that's what they do. But we'd hunted Colorado and New Mexico for 30 plus years and very seldom run into a horse with a saddle on it. I mean, it's just very, very seldom that happens.
There are things about the story that probably took years for me to realize the seriousness, the danger, the impact, all of those things, because at first it didn't all register completely.
Yeah.
The miracle that it was, where did this mule come from? I can only assume he got loose from another camp, maybe 10, 20, I don't know. We never saw anyone else. And then we've talked about he had to have gotten loose at a particular time to walk and catch up to us at that very moment that we were in need, that I was in need.
Yeah.
And you can't reason, or I mean, the only reason is a miracle and an
Absolutely.
answered prayer. Um, Even though I was doubting, how can I be helped in this predicament, you know?
Yeah.
So the lesson that I learned was don't ever underestimate the power of a miracle, and for you to be helped out of a situation at any time, anywhere, any situation. Part of the rest of the story is probably 10 years later, I was in the hospital for some scans. After they got the results of the scans, they asked me, if you have scar tissue in your lungs. And I said, I don't know anything about it. I don't know how I would have gotten scar tissue in my lungs. And the doctor said, well, have you ever had pneumonia? And I thought,
Oh my goodness.
probably this one time, I think I had pneumonia because it was hard to breathe. When I would breathe, I would cough. I coughed a lot, and then going back thinking that probably was.
So obviously, God stepped in there and provided this miracle to happen. Instead of him just giving Tim back his bearings, washing away the pneumonia, why do you think instead of doing that would be so easy for him? Why do you think he
Right.
gave you a donkey?
I always think about that too. You know, God has all this power? Why didn't He just, why didn't He just make it easy for us? And I think the lesson is that we have a part to play in this too, and we wouldn't learn anything from the situation if just wiped away for us.
You wouldn't have an incredible story either.
That's right. Wouldn't have the story. So, absolutely.
Did you get an elk?
Actually, I did that year. Actually, I did. I think Tim actually came and helped me pack it out after
Holy
after he
smokes.
recovered. I believe that was the same year. Like I say, he bounced back pretty good.
That totally makes sense. Do you think God meant for you to share it?
Absolutely. I think miracles are meant to share, to bolster other people's faith and confidence that if he could do this for me, he could do it for anybody.
Yeah.
And we've told it many times, never like this, but the story is out there. I had a minister call me, wanted the story so he could use in a message.
Oh man.
So I never heard the message, but I would like to hear the message.
Yeah.
So
There's that idea. I guess it's not even an idea. It's scriptural that we overcome the evil one by the blood of the Lamb, by the word of our testimony. And you have within this, like, you have so many family members here. You have so many people here, and it's such a beautiful time within family. And you see how just like God intended us to be in family, and then you see how He's a father, and you just see so much of that here. Have you had opportunities to share that with, like, because when you're telling these stories and in testimonies, one of the reasons it has so much validity and impact on people is because you have impact on people, and people here care about you, and they know your character, and they know your integrity. So when you tell a story like this, it's not some floof. It's not someone saying, "Hey, do this, and you can pay $1,000 and you get 7 spiritual blessings." It's like, it's genuine. There's no way around it, and you will have a miracle that God has shown in your life. Have you seen it impact the people here when you tell the story, or used it in an opportunity to increase people's faith?
yeah, I've tried to tell the story, and it's hard for some people to believe, I'm sure, but it's absolute, and I would hope that it uplifts other people's beliefs and faith, and anyone in any situation can be helped. Don't limit God to just what you can see in your mind, how you can be helped.
How often do you find yourself coming back to this story? Like, because you said it helps to increase your faith. You said you rethink about it, and it's what you're saying here is that His ways are above our ways, and that His thoughts are above our thoughts, and He knows way more than we do. How much, when it comes to you praying and it comes to you believing for something and hoping for something, has this been a pillar moment where you come back to it and it just bolsters faith? Does that happen?
All the time.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's in my mind everywhere I go. And if I ever have any doubts, I go back to that and I tell myself, remember that? Remember that time. Don't underestimate God's help. Remember that time with the mule. So it's always in my, it goes with me everywhere. I always think about that, and I'm sure my brothers do too.
Yeah.
Being there and seeing that.
They have this thing in the Bible. It was the Old Testament, and they have this something called Ebenezer stones. And you do this all the time with altars. Like, you get these stones, and they, especially even after Exodus, you grab these stones, and they meant something, so you can go back to them and remember the things that God has done. Because in this faith thing, it's not just blind faith. It's like God proves Himself over and over and over again to be true. Did you feel a unique sense of tenderness from an almighty being towards you, like that day? Like, did it expand your understanding of love and care and
Absolutely. I felt like I was the only one that was being helped right then.
Oh,
You know, and God knows the numbers of hairs on our heads.
yeah.
He's all knowing. I wasn't the only one being helped, but I felt like it was a special help just for me, and obviously it was designed just for me because no one else was up there in dire need of getting off of the mountain out of that situation.
Yeah.
Something released that mule up there to be miles away to the very point where I didn't have to sit there, like I said, for a long time. It was minutes to help me.
So,
And,
like, logically, God had to release that before you even asked, before you were even in the moment where you were constantly calling out. So God, and that's cool because it's hard to wrap our mind around, but He dwells in and outside of time. He's not confined
Yeah.
by the bounds of space-time. And so before you were even asking, He was already releasing that help because He loves.
Yeah, it was in motion.
Holy
Before I even know
smokes, man. That's wild to think about. That sometimes we don't even know what we're asking for, and it's already in motion, already in direct line. And He knew when you were going to be tuckered out.
When I was going to be at the end, timed it perfectly.
Gives you chills, yeah.
That's mind-blowing. That is so stinking cool.
And this mule is just walking. He's not running.
Yeah.
He's walking. And we never met the person. Like I said, there were other trucks and trailers down at this parking area where everyone unloaded and went into this vast area of wilderness. We simply tied the mule at one of the trailers.
Yeah.
That's all we could do, and someone reclaimed it. Someone, whoever owned it, maybe, I don't know, because they took me to Steamboat and put me in a hotel, went to a drugstore and got me all this medicine, which I was already feeling better just getting out of there.
Wow.
So I think when they left me there and went back up, I believe the mule was gone. Or maybe he got loose and went back to his camp.
Hey, if God got him there, He can get him
It could
back.
have absolutely been. We don't know. But never got to meet the owner or anything. So, but that's okay. The miracle happened. The point was made, and here we are, 22 years or so later,
Holy smokes,
telling the
man.
story.
I hope that in this. Sorry.
No, it's alive and well. It's as vivid today as it was then.
I've got a feeling, this inclination that in the same way, because this is 22 years in the making, and your story has helped so many people, and it's definitely helped you to see more of God's love. And I hope that through this, it's just another one of those times to where 20 years in the making, Brad decides to go on this wild adventure and capture these stories in order to help other people, that by the time it reaches people, it's that moment where they're in their moment of crisis and they didn't know that God foresaw them 22 years in the future for this exact moment to let them know that he sees them and he loves them and he cares about them. And he gets to do that to your freaking stories. So that's such a clear...
Use the story.
There's this in first or second, it's First Corinthians, I think it's 14, and he's talking about the gifts of the Spirit that are given. And it talks about the reason those gifts are given are specifically to edify the church. They're entirely made to bolster each other's faith, to bolster each other's hope, to bolster each other's love. And it's like to increase everyone in the faith and in love and in unity towards one another. And it's like, these are the stories, these are seeds planted in people's... all these stories have affected me. They've impacted me to where it's like, you don't... Obviously, there's a lot more power behind it for you because you lived it and experienced it. But because, like, I know in part your character because of the people that you have, like, this story is true. And whenever I'm in moments of crisis, it's like, now I have just... You have all the stories from the Bible, and then you have personal stories from people you know. God's still working, he's still intervening, he's still showing his love. It just makes it like, what the heck are we afraid of? Why do we live in so much anxiety today? Why do we live in so much fear-riddled, just, that's the entire environment. That's what media does to get people's, like, it's addicting to be afraid. And this story is one of courage, not of fear, and it just points people...
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
It shouldn't dead end with just one person. You know, it wouldn't have been right for me and my brothers to carry it home and keep it inside. It doesn't help other people. As vivid and as alive today as it was that day. I remember every piece of it because, like I said, it took years to go back and remember everything because you don't remember every single... It takes a while to think about it and ponder exactly what happened. And then you go, wow, that is crazy.
It doesn't even end with you. Like, it's a miracle in itself that he saves you. And now you get to you get to be a steward of that and share it with other people. That's only something God can do. It's not just a gift for you, but it's a gift for people around you. Like, how stinking good is he?
Yeah.
That blows me away.
Yep.
But we end all these with one of my favorite questions, and that is, because it helps to get to the heart of a person, helps to see where their mind is and what their vision is. And the question is simply this. It is, what is your favorite thing about life? And it could be anything. It could be the color of this grass. It could be the chiggers biting us. It could be it could be all...
Are you being bit right now?
No.
Oh.
Embellishing. It could be all the family, to anything to you as Tim Whitley. What is your favorite thing about life?
My favorite thing about life, going through cancer 12 years ago now is everything. The air, the kids, the family, the friendships, the opportunity to still be here, to live and appreciate everything. I can't just name one thing. It's everything.
Holy smokes.
You know, having the opportunity to go to church and have better understanding of why we're here and God's plan and our future in that plan and the sacrifice that was made for us. So it's pretty much everything. I appreciate everything.
You went through cancer?
Yeah, that's a
Dude.
whole nother story.
So it's like, this wasn't even your last time facing death. It was that's insane. They say that your life flashes before your eyes, like in those intense moments before, like, you die. And you've had multiple experiences where you really had to revalue or relook at what is actually valuable to you because life was at that level to where it could end.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk to old people all the time, like your 90s, 80s, 90s, and I ask them, like, if they can go back to 27-year-old you, what advice would you give yourself? And that's because they're facing death. They're facing this reality that life's coming to a close, and they look back on all of it. And your answer is so in line with theirs, of like not taking stuff for granted, not sweating the small stuff, enjoying your family, enjoying your people. And it's like, That's so cool that God allowed you to have such a wise perspective at such a young age. Through hardship, no doubt.
Well, it was opportunity for me to realize things and mature and grow. You know, I still battle things like impatience is one of my biggest things to overcome, just like other people. But anyway, but the cancer was another. Being a 3C, a 4 has spread. Being a 3, it's A, B, C, and then the next. I was a 3C, and when it was caught and got
Holy
back under
smokes.
control. So yeah, there's a few other stories.
We haven't even tapped the surface, I guess. Holy smokes. Well, Tim, thank you. Thanks for sharing this. Thanks for being a faithful steward of what God's given you to not just be something that impacted you, but you get to then, through the story, impact others. That's
My pleasure. I enjoy it.
You're awesome, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We want to thank my uncles for entertaining us by sharing this miraculous story, one that we would reflect on for years to come and share when we felt it was needed. Before we left and began our drive to our next guest, I thought it would only be right for John to get to experience Norman G to its fullest, indulging in some simple redneck activities.
These headphones are awesome, dude.
Can't hear it.
No, I hear everything.
So we grabbed some explosives, a jerry can of gasoline, and a rifle.
Bon voyage.
This is Brad and John signing off. We'll see you in the next one. Good night.
It's about time.
Next time on Can You Explain It?
I have one that you've never heard of.
I love it.
And at the time, I thought, man, that was so strange. This guy walking across in front of my truck, and then I see him again after the wreck, and I'm staring right at him, and then he disappears.
What else you got? Keep them coming. These are these are
Well, I
awesome.
got
Holy
the one
smokes.
that they're talking about.
Can you explain what your group is?
So it's just an association of boys, no girls allowed.
Me and my sister were just playing at our mama and papa's house until I saw this brown thing and we picked it up sticks to kill it, but then I realized it was a copperhead snake. I petted it one time and I pet it again, and then it bited me on my thumb, this thumb, and I got burned today.